Morning children. Today I will continue with the lesson agriculture and the topic is institutional and technological reforms. As we know that agriculture has been practiced in our country for thousands of years and the sustained use of the land without compatible techno-institutional reforms has hindered the progress of the agriculture in our country. In spite of irrigational development in the country, still farmers they depend upon the monsoon and as well as the natural fertility of the soil. So there was the need for the reforms to be taken in the field of agriculture. Thus the technological and institutional reforms which were taken were the collectivization, consolidation of holdings, cooperation and abolition of Jamidari system were given the priority after the independence under the institutional reforms. Later, when the first 5-year plan was introduced, it focused on land reforms because according to the law of inheritance, land leads to fragmentation of the land which further leads to size of the plot becomes very small. So it necessitated that is the consolidation of land holdings. And in 1960s and 1970s, the government of India embarked upon agriculture reforms. What were these? First, the Green Revolution, that is known as package technology. Under it, the farmers will use that the HYV seeds, assured irrigation, use of fertilizers and pesticides. And the other one, White Revolution, that is called Operation Flood. It means more production in the field of milk and its product. Another program which was taken, that is a comprehensive land development program in the 1980s and 1990s. What was this? It included both institutional and technical reforms. Provision for crop insurance against flood, drought, cyclone, fire and disease. And moreover, there was establishment of the Gramin banks, cooperative societies and the banks so that they can get loan from these banks at the low rate of interest, because the money lenders in the villages they charge heavy rate of interest. Another, that is the reforms schemes which are introduced by the government of India are Kisan credit cards, personal accident insurance schemes and special weather bulletins and agriculture programs for the farmers were introduced on radio and televisions. And to check the exploitation of the farmers by the speculators and middlemen, the government also announces minimum spot price, remunerative and procurement prices for the important crops in our country. So these were all the institutional and technological reforms which are taken in our country. But with the coming of the globalization, that is the topic is next, impact of globalization on agriculture. So what is globalization? Already we have read in the economics chapter, that is integrating the economy of one country with the rest of the world. Means one country, people from one country can sell the product in the other countries. That is, in our country, this globalization process was not a new phenomena because Indians, they were the great exporter of the spices to the countries of the world in the 19th century. And when India was a colony of the Britishers under the colonization, that time also the cotton growing belt of India attracted them, and these Britishers, what they did, they exported from India cotton to their own country, that is England, to feed the cotton textile industries, that is in the city of Liverpool and Manchester. And for this, they forced the Indian farmers in Bihar, that is to grow the indigo planters, that in history already we have read, when they led the movement that is called Champaran movement in 1917 under the leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, because now farmers were forced to grow the indigo in place of the food crops which they were growing to sustain their families. And India is even today exporter of these spices and other so many products in the world. It was before the, that is under the Britishers and even today. But what happened in 1990 when the globalization came into India, that the Indian farmers were faced with the challenges in the world. Though they are the producers of tea, coffee, rice, rubber and many other products, but these farmers are not able to compete with the farmers of the developed countries, because in the developed countries the agriculture is highly subsidized. So today if we say that Indian agriculture is at the crossroads, and if we want that agriculture should be profitable as well as it should be developed, so what we have to do, we have to raise the standard of living as well as the income of the people, of the poor and marginal farmers. So the steps was taken in 1960s, 70s, we have read, that is green revolution. But this revolution has led to the depletion of the fertility of the soil, lowering of the water table and vanishing the biodiversity. So other ways which are those, that is the organic farming, which is environmental friendly, because in this the farmers do not use that factory made fertilizers and chemicals. Another is genetic engineering, that is recognized as a powerful and supplement in inventing new hybrid varieties of the seeds. And next is the change in the cropping pattern, that is diversification. Now from cereals to high value crops, for example fruits, medicinal herbs, flowers, vegetables, biodiesel crops like jatropha and zozoba need much less irrigation than rice and sugarcane. And if our farmers, they go for diversification from these food crops to these crops which you had just now read, then in the countries like Italy, Chile, what they do, they grow the crops like wine and olives, and they export them and they import the food crops. So it may also help the farmers in our country. So with all these topics, I bring the conclusion to the chapter, and I hope it will help you and enhance your learning capacity. Stay blessed. Thank you.